Hey guys, welcome. This is Aija from IBM, and today we are going to discuss about FinOps and Apptio Cloudability and provide a quick hands-on demo. Before we dive in, let me set a bit of context and provide a brief introduction to the FinOps domain as well, right? DevOps in the cloud have broken the traditional procurement models of the businesses and the financial guardrails that used to be in place when a team had to essentially request access for resources has been bypassed with automation and the ability to spin up resources that are win. That's not necessarily a bad thing because in the past you used to have to essentially go to the IT team and ask for a resource capacity, and they need to go and ask the finance to increase the capacity by buying a bunch of servers and storage and all that good stuff, right? And that could take up to 6 months. Whereas now you can essentially press a button within your AWS or GCP, for example, and you instantly got your resource and it's available to you. Now, this means that if you want to try something out, you don't have to wait for 6 months and you can just go and get what you want, right? And if it works, it's fantastic. Maybe we can scale it, right? If it doesn't work, we can just turn it off and it doesn't cost us any more money, right? So now these are some good things as it allows us to innovate faster as a business. But however, because of the finance and procurement are no longer in charge of guardrailing the money, ultimately engineers can end up overspending and you can get unexpected bill shocks very, very quickly. So there needs to be a new way of working within the cloud, and that's where the FinOps comes in. FinOps is all about understanding exactly what the business value of your cloud investments are. And because of when you start spending money in the cloud, the business expects some sort of a return, right? The ROI. So FinOps is nothing but we bring the amalgamation of two terms, finance and operations, right? So we are trying to bring them together and align with our business to ultimately understand how we get to that maximum business value. So the advice from the FinOps Foundation is simple. It's to follow the life cycle of inform, optimize, and operate. So in short, the inform phase is where you create visibility, look at what you're using and where you're using it, set budgets, create transparency, real-time data anomaly detection, and managing shared costs, etc. And in the optimized phase is where you look for ways to improve, build business cases, look at right sizing, rate optimization, and look for opportunities and etc. Right? And in the operate phase is where you take an action, make decisions based on the forecasting, budgeting, your unit economics, benchmarking, and execute the opportunities you find. Right? So, although the FinOps life cycle is relatively simple, it can be expanded into individual domains and capabilities, which the Cloudability covers all. So, understanding the cloud cost and usage, performance tracking and benchmarking, real-time decision making, and understanding the cloud rate optimization, usage optimization, and making sure everything is aligned to your client's organization. But how does Cloudability deliver this FinOps, right? So right off the bat, it will connect programmatically to all your public cloud building data across four big cloud players: AWS, Azure, GCP, and Oracle. Right? It will also connect to your cloud utilization data such as your CPU, memory, network, IO, to help you understand where you can get more efficient and how you can optimize the spend to the right amount. So finally, the very important part is the Cloudability's APIs and integrations. So Cloudability does not exist in a vacuum only, right? So you likely have a project management solution, a change management, data warehouses, and all sorts of different players in your cloud environment that we can connect to. And you'll also typically see for things like unit economics or unit costing also. So this ability to pull in outside data, like the number of transactions, user, customer accounts, are very important for a high-level Synapse use cases, which we'll be talking through the demo. So now let's dive right into a short demo. of demonstrating the Apptio Cloudability platform. You there? So let me share my screen. So what you're seeing right now is the Cloudability platform, and this is the multi-cloud FinOps dashboard. And the first thing that we notice about the platform is that it brings a single pane of glass cost visibility across the major cloud providers. In this case, Amazon, Azure, and GCP, right? So clients can understand the cost of their entire cloud footprint in the near real time, and more importantly, measure it in a way that makes sense to the business and its needs. So, for example, you can see what you're paid to the different cloud vendors versus what has been consumed as of now. The amortized cost metric will allocate upfront savings plans and reserved instance payments to when and where they were consumed. You can also choose to apply custom pricing rules or strip away discounts with metrics like this, basically representing the cost. So the insights delivered by Cloudability are primarily based on the detailed billing information available from each cloud vendor, which are enriched to help you make a sense out of it, right? The enrichment categorizes the spend in some very interesting ways. And one of the interesting definitions available by default is the usage family. As you can see, here is a daily spending chart, and you can easily see what costs are going to areas like storage versus VM instances versus data transfer, database units, and so forth, right? So there are other popular reporting dimensions which allows users to track the consumed cloud service, identify the type of a cost item, and identify the transaction type, resource ID, and the cost amortized. So, what's incredibly powerful about Cloudability is that the data is standardized through its view engine. Whether stored by application, by product, or by any other meaningful dimension for your business, views can be defined based on any attribute of a cost, which can be done here, where the current view is the all data. So it can be defined based on any attribute of a cost record directly loaded from the cloud provider, tags, account ID labels, or from business mappings. Let's go ahead and see the view of the product ergonomic as we have it here. So this allows users to focus on the data that is relevant to them. It also provides access control, so users can only see the cost data that they should be seeing, right? If you log into the system as a product owner for a specific product or application, in this case, we are logged in as the product owner of the ergonomic product. You'll only see the cost data for that product, right? So this level of data access extends across all features and functions within the Cloudability. So every user can self-service all the data across their organization. This is true whether they want to delve into specific anomalies that happen in the cloud platform or look into containers that the cloud leverages, right? And data access is ensured all the way down through right sizing and capabilities such as forecasting as well, right? Now let's shift the view to the all data view. So Cloudability at its core was designed as a big data analytics engine for public cloud. So what this means is it's going to pull in every resource ID, cluster namespace, or label across your entire environment on a per second basis and keep the data in granularity to support your YOYs, MOMs, and QOQ style reporting. This data reporting capability is critical to support certain critical features such as anomaly detection, forecasting capabilities, and general reporting and auditability of your cloud data. Right, so clients who try to build such capabilities on their own quickly realize that storing, maintaining, and keeping data to support this granularity of reporting is typically a very expensive exercise. So on top of the code, dashboarding and reporting, the capability that was just shown. So Cloudability has a suite of features around each of the different FinOps phases, right? So the Cloudability insights are directly related to the inform phase of the FinOps cycle, where we can see the true cost explorer and the tag explorer as well, where we can see the total cost and we can see uh, we can see the exact billing data visually, and it can answer the questions about how the usage translates into cost as well, right? So we have the Tag Explorer as well, which gives a global view of the coverage of all the tags and account groups that are present. And we have the container cost allocation as well, which can be found here. Shows various widgets such as the total cost, efficiency score, and efficiency score by usage, idle cost, and efficiency for the top 10 idle cost clusters, and top 10 least efficiency score by cluster. And we have the anomaly detection as well, which helps quickly detect the unusual spends. And it shows that here on September of 22nd, there was an unusual spend of $152, right? Where the total cost was $180. We can click on the details and we can see exactly the unusual spend and the expected spend as well, right? So we also have the scorecards here, which help compare the efficiency of cloud usage across teams, right? So the top compute spend, overall score, and the score percentile as well. Now, if we go into the optimize tab on the navigation pane, uh, so it's obvious, right? Once you know like who is spending what, you are likely to ask a question, how can Cloudability help us spend less? So Cloudability does that through helping plan reserved instance usage and commitment management across all cloud providers, as well as right sizing and automatic ROI tracking for that optimization. You have your commitment portfolio, uh, your commitment manager, commitment recommendations, right sizing ROI, automation, and also your turbonomic as well, right? So once you know who is spending what and that you're spending the right amount, the next obvious question is what are we going to pay tomorrow, right? So here is the current month analysis and longer term forecast to show you what you might be spending in the next 6, 12, and 12 months out, all while tracking your budget and your plans to actuals while reforecasting the data throughout the year so that you're constantly up to date on what your teams are expected to spend. Now let's talk about the organized tab, right? The Cloudability will ingest all your tags and labels across all cloud providers, and it can also adhere to any sort of account hierarchy, subscription or project, anything like that. Typically, 99% of Cloudability clients leverage business mapping features. This feature provides a much more robust rules-based allocation strategy that maps cloud spend back to your actual business priorities, right? Now let's go back to the Insights tab and see what the Tag Explorer is all about. So the Tag Explorer lets you quickly see the state of all your tagging across your business, and this view helps achieve one of the principles of FinOps. Everyone takes ownership for their cloud usage, right? Looking at this chart, you can quickly identify the cloud spend that is not allocated to the responsible party. And using this report, you can see a very limited amount of cloud spend that can be directly allocated to the owner, environment, or application by hovering cursor over the horizontal bars on the report associated with these dimensions on the left. So this is very common for most Cloudability users when they start. There are some things you cannot tag using your cloud provider. For example, there's multi-tenancy. In that case, tagging doesn't really get you the data that you need for allocation. And for items that cannot be tagged, Cloudability provides flexible business maps engine that let you define logical conditions using any available attributes to assign the cost to a responsible party. This is very important because if you can't allocate the cloud spend dollars accurately and successfully back to the business units, application, or any cost centers, you won't be able to perform the optimization, forecasting, or any of the other main value driving use cases supported with the FinOps. Now let's go into the containers. And for the shared environments like managed Kubernetes or OpenShift clusters, Cloudability provides a dedicated mechanism to collect usage metrics such as CPU or memory consumption. And these metrics are used to properly divide the cost of running the whole cluster to owners or initiators of the workload, right? So now let's dive into the anomaly detection. So anomaly detection is another useful function that facilitates the implementation of the informed phase of the FinOps, right? The goal here is simple to is it's to detect the anomalous cloud spend as soon as possible and alert users either via PagerDuty or by email so that they can verify and react quickly, right? And there are many situations in which where people where clients have saved a lot of money. So Cloudability's anomaly detection feature is a powerful and robust because it's fully automated. It's based on the standard deviation analysis of any cost item. So they are notified on this anomalous spend across any service of the connected cloud service provider, right? Now, coming to the optimize tab on the navigation pane, let's go into the right sizing. So the features that support the optimized phase of the FinOps cycle, the right sizing, this is one of the several items available to help you optimize your cloud spend. So Cloudability looks at the utilization metrics of different cloud services and makes a recommendation if Cloudability thinks there is a lower cost and a more suitable instance type available, right? So Cloudability recommends right sizing and terminating actions on the compute instances, bringing savings to your cloud spend. Clients often use this cloudability features in low FinOps maturity level when they are still learning to operate in cloud and want to apply these actions manually. For a more mature client who wants to optimize at scale in an automated fashion, IBM has a more focused solution called the IBM Turbonomic as well, right? No, so now coming to the plan tab, now let's see how the forecast is over here. So finally, as your FinOps practices mature, you'll typically want to implement operate practices as well, right? So Cloudability supports you by providing cost forecasts based on the collected data and the projected trends. So you can review this forecast for any of your cloud services and save the forecast as budget as well, right? So you can forecast for up to 24 months using the forecast range setting over here. And later, when the new billing data is imported, the actual costs are automatically compared against the budget and visualized on the reports. So this helps you manage your cloud spend as well. So let's quickly recap on what I showed you today. So I showed you how the Cloudability helps you implement the practices from all the phases of the FinOps cycle, starting with the inform phase through the optimize and operate phase. You also saw a number of dashboards and visualizations reports that can help you allocate a cloud cost to the owner, products, and business units, or whatever the cost centers you want, right? You have seen the optimization recommendations that help you save money as well. So finally, you saw Cloudability features that help your finance department with planning, forecasting, and budgeting the cloud cost as well, right? So thank you for joining in. That's all from me. See you again next time. Thank you.